Can we get all of our hay equipment running in time for our first ever do-it-ourselves hay season, or do we just spend thousands of dollars on a giant paperweight? Hi, and welcome back to Whitetail Acres Farm. This year is a big one for us. For the first time since starting this farm, we will not have to outsource any piece of the hay process. Not the cutting, not the tedding, not the baling. We have the equipment, we have the tractor, we have the know-how, and we are really looking forward to getting the whole process done ourselves and being able to have control over the schedule. Not having to wait on or rely on someone else to do it is a breath of fresh air. We're really hoping to get the 3 cuttings done this year. So the first order of business was getting the John Deere 7520 serviced and ready to go. Ryan got to work on the 7520 right away, full oil change, new filter, the whole works. She is running great and ready to put to work.
Some pretty dark oil. We're going to get some quality synthetic in here and be good for another year. So we took a Napa filter off, the oil filter. It's part 7750S. I have a Wix filter to go back on. Wix actually makes the Napa filters, so you can see the part number 5775 or 57750S. The only difference is Wix has a 5 in front of theirs. The ones they make for Napa, they drop the 5, but same filter. We're gonna fill up this engine with AmSoil Premium Synthetic 15W40. Meets all the specs that John Deere recommends here. Checked everything out with the manual, and we're good to go. It's much better oil than the standard conventional oil, the dinosaur oil as a lot of people call it. So we'll go ahead and get a fresh coat of oil on the O-ring in here, then we're ready to put the filter back on and we can fill her up. Make sure your finger's clean. It's clean. A little fresh oil on the rubber gasket in there. Otherwise it could tear while we're tightening it down. You don't want that. And always use clean oil, not the used oil that you just drained out. So that's ready to go. I'm gonna run over there, put a little clean oil down the hatch and flush out any of the used stuff. Then we can put the filter on, put the plug back in, and then 5 fresh gallons of synthetic. I always like to put just a little fresh oil down the oil fill before we put the plug and new filter back on, just to flush out any residual oil or sludge or shavings or anything like that that could be in the sump. Just something I've always done. I'll just put a half a quart or so, and nothing else that makes me feel better. we'll go put our oil filter back on, and while we're waiting for that oil to drain out, we'll get this taken care of, and then we can put the drain plug in, and we should be all set. All right, filter going in. All right, our oil is just about done draining. That's just clean oil coming out anyway, so that's a good sign. We'll go ahead and get the drain plug in, and then we can start filling up this engine. Probably going to take the best part of those 21 quarts that it said. Now we're right in the middle of the acceptable range, which is good. Oil filter is not full yet, so we'll start it up, let it run for a couple minutes, and then let it drain down and check again in about 10-15 minutes. And then we'll probably have to just top it off once that oil filter fills up with oil. Guess we'll pull this air filter quick and take a look at that. Just a tiny bit of dirt on the surface here. We'll pull it out and take a look, but I'm sure it looks brand new. There's not too many hours on this tractor since this last service was done. Inside of the filter is completely clean, which is what you want to see. There's hardly anything on it, so we are not going to change this now. That filter might have another whole season in it. Well, that feels like about 10 minutes. Let's go check the oil and see if we need to top this off. Yep, you probably can't see it in the camera, but we're down here right at the add mark. We need to be up here in the crosshatch, so we're going to go ahead and add about a half a quart at a time and then recheck it until we get to where we need to be. Right on. Right at the top of the full mark is where I like it to be. That's where we are. So we'll go ahead and close it up and call it good for today. We'll check it again in a few days just to be sure, but looks good.
The next thing on our list was the wheel weights that we won at the Agriteer auction. They needed some love. Ryan abrasive blasted them down to bare metal, primed them, and spray painted them this beautiful, vibrant John Deere yellow. We got an amazing deal on them, and they will look great on our tractor. They're curing right now, and we'll get them mounted before hay season kicks off. So at this point, we're feeling pretty good. Tractor serviced? Check. Wheel weights refurbished? Check. Time to move on to the tedder.
We're hooking up our new tedder that we won at the auction. We're getting really close to hay season, and we want to make sure that this machine actually works and that we'll be able to rely on it. So fingers crossed.
Looks like we got some soft tires. We'll take care of that. We'll get her greased up. So I guess we'll get the air hose out here, pump these tires up, then we'll go over and hit all the grease fittings. See where we're at.
So the first thing we noticed, the tires were extremely low. So Ryan fired up the air compressor and filled each one. Okay, easy enough. Then we started greasing the Zerk fittings, and a lot of them seemed clogged. We couldn't get grease into them at all. We did the best we could with them, but that's a problem we're going to have to come back to. And then we fired her up and we heard this. Metal rubbing against metal. Not a good sound. Not a good sign. It could be the tines hitting each other, but we need to figure out what that sound is and fix it. But that's where things went even more downhill. Water coming out of the rotor gearbox on one of the baskets. That gearbox should contain oil or grease, not water. That's even more concerning. Water in a gearbox means the seals are compromised and the internal components could be rusted or damaged.
So in the manual here, it says that the lubricant for these gearboxes is actually a grease, not an oil. So I don't really believe lubricated for life is a thing with equipment like this. So we'll shoot some grease in there tomorrow probably and see how that does. See if it quiets down the gearboxes, and we'll give it another shot.
We really hope we didn't make a bad purchase with this at the auction. It will be so disheartening if we ended up spending all of that money on a big paperweight. If you've ever bought equipment at an auction that turned out to have hidden problems, we'd love to hear about it in the comments below. It would make us feel a lot less alone right now. We couldn't be more frustrated and disappointed at the moment, but we're not giving up. Here's where we stand. The John Deere 7520 is ready. The wheel weights are curing and they'll be mounted soon. The disc mower, rake, and baler still need to be looked over. And the tedder, well, we will have to research how to better fill the gearboxes with grease, figure out where that water's coming from, and address that metal on metal sound. Really hoping we get this figured out and fast, because hay season waits for no one. If, and that is a big if, we'll be able to actually get this piece of equipment going, that'll be a game changer for our hay operation. We went from a 4-basket to an 8-basket tedder for a reason, but right now it's a big question mark. All in all, it was a productive and successful start to our hay season prep. The tractor's running, the weights look amazing, but that tedder is a big unknown, and we'll keep you posted on what we find. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more hay season excitement along with all of our other farm adventures. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.